Hi everyone, greetings from Montreal, Canada. Welcome to our Let's Practice. Today we're looking at Debussy, the girl with the flaxen hair. This is a Debussy Prelude and one of his most famous pieces. So I think we're going to talk a lot about pedal today in this piece because that's very interesting. And of course, Debussy, we're always dealing with the kind of sound we use and choosing our expressive moments. Debussy says if it's expressive all the time, it's not really expressive. So he likes that, and we'll see that in this piece. So here we go. Gonna play this while waiting for people to connect. I hope the audio is better. It was really too low in the last two videos, so this should be much better. So here we go. The Girl with the Flaxen Hair by Claude Debussy. All right, there we have it. Good morning to everyone who's joined. Hi, John Gonzalez, Graham Wilkinson. Nice to have you guys with us. We're looking at La Fille aux Cheveux de Lin, the Girl with the Flaxen Hair by Claude Debussy. And, well, we're going to dive into this. Let's dive into this. We're going to talk about especially pedal and, of course, timing. Okay. Yeah, all right. I mentioned that in the beginning. Debussy says that if it's always expressive, it's never really expressive. That's an important thing to consider whenever playing his music. And you'll find that he writes things very much according to the way he says that. Of course, if something is always expressive, then we never feel like there's anything different. There's not a moment that's more expressive because it's already expressive. So Debussy creates these atmospheres. I got a dog right next to the pedals here, kind of trying to negotiate some room with her. So we're creating atmospheres that are not necessarily expressive in that way, in the way you would play like, Haydn or even Chopin. But Chopin also has moments kind of like Debussy. They have something in common. They'll create these kind of floating moments that are not necessarily super expressive. Maybe a tiny little bit, but 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. Or when you have something like this, little crescendo. It's just a little éclat, a little éclat. What's that word in English? It's like a little flash of light, right? So then finally when we get to here, we have our loudest dynamic in the piece, which is going to be mezzo forte. That's it. So here's our expressive part. Maybe that's even too loud, right? And then we go back to this. This kind of, again, another texture, another atmosphere, right? Important to count. Pardon me. I think timing is the next most important thing to talk about in this piece, right? How do we time it? And the best thing to do is start by playing it really in time, as strictly as you can, as much as possible, just in time, no rubato, just for practice, just to understand the timing of the piece. So that's really useful. So you might start out by doing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1. Not very interesting for now, but at least we understand the timing. So then you can stretch it, you can distort the timing with your rubato once you know what you're doing, what you're distorting, right? There has to be a kind of foundation. This is a long note. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1. So it shouldn't start too early. Once that's established, now we can start to do rubato. What I like to do in this piece is start this thing a little slowly. So 1, 2, 3, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 1, 2. So see how we kind of sped it up in the middle, and it took a little time to start, and then when it finished, it relaxed a little as well. So that's one of the things that Debussy means when he says sans rigueur. So rigueur is like being rigorous, right? Not to be rigorous with the rhythm, right? So again, you do the rubato, but know what the actual rhythm is, so that just in case, you know, because I think a lot of people probably do something like this. Well, you skip a beat. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1. So there we have that. Okay. The dog is having dreams here. So it's good music for it. All right. So now we have that. So let's count it in 6 and see how that rubato goes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2, 3, 1, 2. So we got a nice clean rubato that fits cohesively into the rhythm, right? So that's great. Okay, next. A little bit of fingering. I won't go into fingering. I think there's another video I talked about it more, but this does have to connect, right? Don't do this. Don't separate this with the holding of the keys in the hand. So it's like doing a push-up. You have to push up. And then try this. 5, 5, 4, 3. But here's again what everyone's going to do is this, which is kind of difficult and unsatisfying. So you connect this. It's like walking the fingers. You walk them on the piano. Right? Okay, 1. So this is a great piece for pedaling and working on pedal, especially since there's so many different chords. Make sure that every chord is very pure. Nothing, no chord combining here. And then you have these things all over this piece in four different places where you have no choice, right? You have to break this, and there's a few ways of doing that. In this case, hold the B flat in the right hand so you can change the pedal on the bass. But make sure, whatever you do, make sure that we have the bass. Because again, the mistake everyone makes is to do this, right? That's kind of sad. We're missing this, right? So you hold the B flat, so we won't have a break in the melody, and then pedal on the bass, hold the bass. Make sure the bass is always there. Same thing when we have, same thing there, same thing at the end of the piece when we have, and this, we need, and same thing at the very end. So whenever you have that, the whole chord needs to be there. That's very important. Another pedaling thing here, when you get here, now we are in a pedal. That kind of works, but it's a little blurry, right? So do it, and then freshen up. That means you change the pedal, okay? You freshen up the pedal. You can change it late. That can be a nice effect, right? Then it kind of goes from being a little blurry to all of a sudden a little more clear. Let's try that. You hear that? All right, so that's a good effect. Now, okay, we talked about pedal here. 1, 3, 4. Use that fingering. So this is connected. Not something like that. We want to go into this. We just had a long note. 2, 3, 1. Now we go into it. Into a new chord. 2, 3, 4, and 1. Sorry, counting kind of whatever numbers, but the idea is here is change the pedal slowly. You know, if you do sudden pedal change, it's kind of disturbing. It disturbs the calm that we have here. So just let it blend out. Now we have that 7th in the bass. So it sounds a little more uncertain, right? Same thing as the beginning. Freshen up the pedal there. Now, here's what I think, again, a lot of people are going to do. When it says céder, that means to slow down. That's in French means slow down. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. Right? So I think everyone ends up doing eighth notes at the end of that bar, or even quarter notes or something. Doesn't really sound like it's slowing down, you know, so pace yourself. That's why I count in 8, you know, or 1 and 2 and that, or 6 rather, because we're in 3, right? So you, instead of counting 3, count 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, and then 1, 2, 3. Or as you want, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. But counting it in 6 might make it feel a little busy psychologically for you. So 3 is not bad when you can do it, and then when it's slowing down, then you subdivide. You subdivide. So 1 and 2 and so on and so forth, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, here's another place where we can do a really beautiful effect with the pedal, much like before. It's kind of unrealistic what Debussy wrote. We're supposed to hold a G here with this chord, and then have this chord, but still have the G. So it's not really going to work. So what do we do here? You can also do this, but like this, by the way. That's not a bad idea. Don't change the pedal. Again, we have that blurry feel, right? Not very good, but we make an effect with it. Again, getting blurry, and then the blurriness subsides. So leave it blurry, don't change. And you hear that? So you gradually lift the pedal very slowly while you're playing these notes. So by the time we get to here, it's clear. So you have, again, this effect, you know, like the fog is lifting. It's such a beautiful thing, right? Anyone who's ever, you know, stood on top of a hill or a mountain and seen a foggy day clear up, you get that. It's such a beautiful thing. Or maybe you see it in movies as well, right? The fog clears up. So you can do that effect by, you know, taking advantage of this situation. Leave the pedal down, lift gradually, and then you re-add that G down here. See? Yeah, can we use the middle pedal? You can try, but it's a pain in the butt, right? Because every piano's different. It doesn't always work. So you can experiment, you know, experiment with the middle pedal. On my piano, below the range that it takes, it's just holding everything, you know. It's not sniping those specific dampers, only the ones that you've played. So, and on some pianos it's going to do a similar thing for higher up. So what would it sound like if I tried to use the middle pedal? You know, then there's the problem of how are you going to get, depending on the piano, old pianos are going to work from around the A all the way down. So that's A2, or it depends if you're European, A3, all the way down. So this would work technically on this piano. Let's find out. Well, now the problem is we weren't necessarily supposed to hold that either, and it still sounds thick, right? So let's say we have that middle pedal. It's possible, but I think you're better off just leaving the pedal, making a blur effect. Anyway, I love that. So try that. You gradually lift the pedal in these notes. Also, yeah, in a place like this, it's not bad to count in 6 if you feel it slow enough. So N6 and 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, F flat. And 2 and 3 and 4 and... So again, as we said earlier, make sure that you keep the bass in this, right? You don't want to lose that. If we get that we're missing that part of the chord, very important. Now here, try backwards wheel, right? So frontwards wheel, we'd go, but this backwards wheel works very well here. And you go in on this chord, so this is in. We could find our alignment here, do the little exercise, lift the feet off the floor, right? If you can pedal the legs, you know, push out with the tailbone, push in with the arms, and then you find that alignment. This dog is in the way. Sorry, Minka, I have to move you a little bit. There we go. So this is, you see now I have that alignment I didn't have before, right? So the movement can actually start from the waist, from the sit bones, from the base of the spine. That's very good. You can control the sound. And see how you bring it in the front like this? You're reading it in G, that's funny. Yeah, there must be a simplified version. It's so different, you know? It's so much more colorful in G flat. Right? Although you have to remember also the tuning has changed so much over the years, right? During Debussy's time, who knows what it was? It was different from country to country, so. But that doesn't make much of a difference. G flat is still G flat, more or less, right? Okay, where are we at here now? The backwards wheel, right? I'm sorry. You see, we have that. Also, very crystal clear, luminous top. So you want to balance the chords. Not every note is equal in volume or importance. And these a little less. A bit of seventh. Right, so backwards wheel. 3 and 1 and 2. Syncopation here on the B flat in the left hand. I love that he writes an 8th note with a rest and then that B flat syncopated to the first beat with a little line on top of it. So it's longer and it kind of sticks out a little bit. And he... All right, now we want to hold the B flat after playing it, so... But not the E. So in the left hand, we should have E and B flat. And then in the right hand, also B flat. Another way you can do this is just play this with the left hand and then go 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's another possibility. If it's confusing to you to go, let go of that. Same thing. We're holding the B flats in this. Isn't that nice? Love this. You can do that all day. More, less. Both times, even if it's not written the first time. More, right? You shape it that way. Come up to here, back down. Go to here and back down. Now we go to here. There's our expressive part. 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. If you have any doubts about that. So kind of like the beginning, this section, start it in tempo and then add the rubato to figure out how it is, okay? Because I think some people confuse that, all right? So let's talk about that a little bit. Hi to everyone who's joined the stream. Hi, David, Doit Fever, Dwa Fever, Sammy, Bill. Don't forget to like the video, by the way, and subscribe if you haven't. Let's look at this in time now. We'll count in 6 again, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1. Slow down a little there, yeah? Okay, so what's the mistake everyone does here? I think everyone does this. And to you. Something like that. So this is 1, 3. Let's count 3 this time. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1. So make sure that makes sense. After that, now we'll distort the time and do the rubato. But we have that figured out. Hayagami. Right, so 1, 2, 3. I like that rubato, something like that. So again, if we count in 6, now we do the rubato. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 5, I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. You see that? 4, 5, 6, and 1. It's not the only way. I just did it another way. I can't remember how, but something like that could be also like that, you know. Grade 9 piece, okay, RCM, that's good. I don't have the grade 9 book, it's in there. All right. Thanks for that, Warren. Okay, so I think that covers it for this thing. Also, of course, pedal. Debussy said somewhere towards the end of his life, I think this is when he wrote the etude for chords. However it goes, played that long ago. Anyway, Debussy says, I finally know how to play a chord. I finally know how to play a chord. It's like a kind of like humbling thing that, you know, he knows how to play the piano, obviously, but he discovers something more about exactly how to put a chord down on the piano. We can only speculate exactly what that is. Maybe it has something to do with the way you put it in your hands before. You hear the chord before you play it. I don't know if this is what he was talking about, but for sure we can go beyond playing mere chords. Hear the chords before you play them. They're in your hand before you make the sound. So you hear that, it's in your hand. Then the next one, you put it in your hand. And this one, it's in your hand. And this one, with a C, we're gonna have that. Maybe the second finger a little longer. So we can stick that note out a little more. And then this blends. This is less. Again, when you really put the chords in your hand, I don't know if I could do a difference. You know, but anyway, I think we've covered that. So let's go on. Here again, Sede. Here we're going to slow down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. So I see it that way. You know, you can play it differently. But for me, this isn't really a pickup. You know, you could play it that way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. It just doesn't look like he wrote it that way, you know? And I think sometimes this sounds good if you go f6 and 1, 2, and then you pick the tempo back up. You pick the tempo back there, yeah. Hi, Elijah. 3, 1 tempo. What's the first Debussy prelude? I forget. Right, so that one a little less. It's kind of a tricky section, yeah. Best is just to memorize it. This one, try to connect this. See the little slur over there? The idea is that you have a pivot, right? It's not just playing the notes and then lifting and then playing the next chord, but if you can't hold with the 5 like this, it doesn't matter. You hold with the thumb. Then the tension is there. You have the tension. 1, hold the thumb. Maybe a little too much in the shoulders, but still, right? This dog is in the way. Sorry, baby. So here we go. Here we go. So you see what we're doing here? The thumb becomes a pivot. And we use 2-4. It doesn't matter that the B flat isn't being held. We're holding the thumb just as good. Better put the left pedal here for these pianissimo sections. Such a beautiful chord. Again, you could spend a lot of time playing this chord, voicing it. And if I would be not so happy with my attack like this, I'd go back to this exercise again so that it comes from the right alignment, right? You have the straight spine, get the feet off the floor, do some pedaling, right? Stick the tailbone out, push in with the fists, and then this is exactly the opposite. When you keep the spine straight, put the left pedal down, squeeze the belly button into the spine, and you can also rock a little bit. I want more of this D flat and these 2 notes. Maybe the 5th in the bass. Can be a challenge. 2, 3. Very soft again. Now here's another of these places. You're going to leave the pedal down. Not that there's a problem with it this time. 2, 3. This works perfectly fine. All in one pedal. Now, here's another place. We have to do that, right? Hi, piano man. We're going to have to stick that into yeah. So you could put it with the E flat in the right hand. You get something like that. You put this like that with the E flat. All right, so yeah, you squeeze the belly button in the spine because you want to take as much weight away from the piano. We're going for a weightless kind of sound. It's like we're on the moon, right? So you have to play the piano that way. The more weight you take away from the instrument, the more you can get the weightless sound. Because you stay higher in the keys. We're on another planet. This works if you have big hands. 5, 4, 3. Change the 3, 4, 5, and then either like this for small hands, and then 5, 4, 3, 1. Fingering there. Or if we count, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Place the third beat there. Murmurer, he says. Murmurer en retenant peu à peu. Murmurer means murmured, so it's like muffled kind of, right? You don't hear someone when they're murmuring very well. You don't hear what they're saying, right? So this is kind of like that, right? That's a good time to put the left pedal on. So we have that effect, right? Whenever you put the left pedal on, what happens is the hammers are moving, so they're hitting fewer strings, right? 1 instead of 2 down here, and then 2 instead of 3 up here. So it's less clear, it's less bright, and that's exactly what we want here with this murmured pianissimo. Now you have F natural, right? We had in the beginning. Now we have F natural. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Something like that. 2, 3, leave the pedal. Maybe a little bit more on the top note, if you can. I wasn't able to when I played through. And here it was just too loud. So you have to know the piano, right? That's why you have sound checks. We get a bit more. You can work on this sort of thing a lot. You see the kind of work that you can do with this piece. It's all about listening. You hear that chord. This has to blend into it. And then we want this note less, this one more, but soft. Right? That's more the kind of sound we want. And then you leave it and lift the pedal and stay a little bit in the music and then release. I always say that. So, I think it fixes this problem of being a little awkward at the end of a piece when you play for someone, right? You have that kind of like, maybe you feel awkward sometimes. It doesn't matter. It's not about the awkwardness, honestly. It's about when you play for someone, you invite them into your bubble, let's say, and you create something. In this case, playing Debussy as an in-between Debussy and whoever's listening. And when you're done, when you listen to a piece of music and you hear the last chord, you don't disconnect as a listener. You hear the last chord and you stay, especially something that finishes soft like this, right? You stay there a while, right? You hear the end of the piece. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, blah, blah, blah. And it ends. And then you go, right? So you as a pianist, you can mimic that a little bit. You can help the person stay by not doing something like this, and then you play your last one, and then you break the tension and you just lift the pedal to finish it when you want. Stay in the mood all the way to the silences at the end of anything that finishes soft. That's really helpful. And the best way to do that is once you listen to the sound. It's all about listening. Listen to the sound as much as possible. Listen to it all the way to the moment where it dies. And then listen to that moment where you go from sound coming out of the piano to no sound. And what changes in what you hear in the room, Everyone hears something different. So I think that covers it. If you guys have any other specific questions about this piece, throw them out in the chat while we're here for a few more minutes, and we'll talk about that. Just gonna go through the chat a little bit. Hi to everyone who's joined. This was Debussy, Girl with the Flaxen Hair. Do you learn all this repertoire so fast, or is stuff you already knew? It might take me a month and a half to learn one piece. Okay, you learn things faster and faster the more you learn, right? So a month and a half for a piece like this is pretty good, right? This is a piece I've taught. So, I'm trying to take pieces that I know more than ones I don't, but sometimes they're pieces I haven't played. So in that case, I do learn them as much as I can. But yeah, you'll find that, I don't know, I've been playing piano for, I guess, 28 years or something like that, since I'm 5. So you just learn faster and faster and faster. And the more sight reading you do, and as a professional, the last few years, it's just been like, you're almost like up to here with the amount of music you have to learn. So you get really good at it. You have to be. But I probably have a knack for learning things pretty quickly. But you do get better at that. So, okay, grade 9 piece. That's cool, that's really cool. How many pieces study at a time so it gets in your brain well? Again, it's different for everyone, but, I recommend working on a few pieces. I think some people just work on one piece. Have at least 3 pieces you work on. I try to, give people 4 pieces, challenge them a little bit, my students. Of course, as a professional, again, if you're a professional pianist, and you have sometimes it happens that you have 15 different pieces to learn at the time. You can go on overload. That's happened to me. So it can be a bit much to have 10, 12 pieces that are really difficult. You're working on everything at the same time. But if you do international competitions, you usually have 3 full programs, if not 4 programs with some chamber music as well that you need to know. So, and as a professional, it can be normal that you have 4 different programs you have to play, but in that case, hopefully you've learned things gradually over time. But that does happen. All right. Audio in the key of G. Are you hearing that in G? That is weird. Oh, you're hearing it in G. That is strange. Can I show my dog? I would like to show her. That would be nice. You must be kidding. Okay, I'm happy you're the only one that's hearing that. My teacher would say, if our performance is successful, we travel somewhere. Very nice. Like you said, we're on another planet here. That space at the end of the piece seems to allow time for a return. Yeah, absolutely. I just love talking about it. I think I talk about it in half my videos or anything that finishes softly anyway, but it's really special. You know, a beautiful example, I will show the dog in a bit. Beautiful example is Beethoven Sonata in E major. We are going to look at that eventually soon. Yeah, that beautiful first movement and then the third movement. You have these variations. It's so beautiful, so divine. And then you go through all these different variations. And all sorts of different variations to come back at the end to the same theme. And it finishes. And that pause it's just gold at the end of this 18-minute long sonata. I love that it's not so long. And he even writes a quarter note, you know, with a little rest at the end. It's not like a long chord at the end, and we're going to look at that. But that's the most beautiful, one of the most beautiful pieces ever written. All right. Teachers are so hard to find. Teachers, are they? Okay, guys. Oh, yeah, the dog. All right. Here we go. She's kind of sleeping. Minka, baby. Baby Minka. Minka, come here. Come here, Minka. Come here. We're going to show you on glorious display. Yeah. Let me put my camera here so you can see. So I can see if you can see. There she is. Hey, baby. Were you sleeping? Were you sleepy, doggy? There she is. As you can see, much bigger than before. All right, the golden doodle returns. So there you have it. And as you can see, she loves to lie down like right in front of the pedals. And when I'm teaching, I'm sitting over here, and she likes to come right between me and the students, which I try not to let her do that. All right, guys, that's it. That wraps up this live session for today. Next one is on Monday, where we will look at, what are we looking at Monday? Is that the Chopin Nocturne on Monday? That would be the 14th. Flight of the Bumblebee. Oh, God. Great. So, yeah, I think I'm going to change that. I just have a really busy weekend. I have to play tomorrow. And okay, I'll try to leave it. I'll look at it Sunday. I'll look at it Sunday and Monday morning. There you go, David. There's an example of a piece that I'm going to have to look at before. I've played it before, but it's been a long time. So, okay, guys. Yes, I'm a dog lover. I love the dogs. Absolutely. This is my first one that I own since I'm 8 years old. We had family dog. Cute as hell. Doggy. You're hearing it in F. Okay, well, I hope you're the only one hearing all these things. Pardon me. Half a tone higher. That's kind of strange. Well, guys, that wraps it up. Here we go. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, check out the schedule. It's in the description. Check out Patreon. Thank you to all the patrons who are there. We're going to get a microphone soon, and that's totally thanks to you guys. We're going to get either a lapel mic or a headset. I think I would go for the lapel mic actually, and a little soundboard so I can have a dedicated mic for voice and one for piano. So if you want to support the channel, head over to the Patreon page, whether you're a pianist or not, but we got some cool perks for pianists there. Hi, Flo Scrob, 1 Hour Classics. Take care, guys. Sammy, everyone. Love you all. Thanks for joining in, and see you on Monday. Take care.